Hello, good evening. We are back with the Cop Talk. We are currently on episode 10 right now, so I would like to really thank everybody for who is tuning in and has supported us. I remember Puva talking about our second show long ago, and now we are like 10 shows in, and it's really something that is amazing, good momentum and everything. So I just want to say to everyone who's tuning in and watching, thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it and appreciate all your support, and we're looking forward to keep this show going. But without further ado, let me talk about some of our speakers here today. We've got the reliable Mr. Dave B from my own Negeri Sembilan State Red Giants Liverpool fan club. Thank you, Dave, for joining us. We've got someone all the way across not across the Mersey, but across the Straits of Johor in Singapore, Mr. Brian from the Cop Talk Singapore. Thank you, Brian, for joining us.
Yeah.
Um, we've got Mr. Joel back here, Mr. Joel Murdoch, who will probably we will have to control today, who so that he doesn't give us a player-on-player rating and review, which he does so well every Liverpool game. So insightful. Thank you, Joel, for joining us. We've got the one and only Mr. Hidayat Fitri, the man of the moment. Thank you so much, Hidayat, for joining us here
Yeah,
today.
thanks for inviting. Thank you.
We're honored to have you here, Hidayat. Thank you. Hidayat been
Thank you.
featured
Thank
on
you.
other online shows. He's a very familiar face in the Liverpool supporters group in Malaysia. And finally, my buddy, first grade, same grade buddy, Mr. Pumarasan Selvam, the one and only. Thank you, Puma, for joining us. So, we've got our panels here today. Without further ado, I think we need to go into the goddamn crisis that we've got. Pardon my words, but it is a goddamn crisis, right? Like after losing VVD, we were like, after losing VVD, we're top of the table. It doesn't matter. You think that's a crisis? We've got this, and then domino effect of issues, right? COVID plus injuries. Now we've got ourselves the crisis, and we are the champions of England, and a lot of teams, a lot of fans of rival clubs are still rating us very highly to watch. To lift the trophy this season still, because they do think that in terms of performance, consistency, there's not many teams that are going to be able to catch us. But we don't have our team here, so let's talk about the injuries here, and without talking about everyone's thinking who's going to play, who is Klopp going to play. But let's just talk about the injuries here. The injuries in terms of what's actual injuries that are critical, what's precautionary here. Maybe we'd like to start with maybe Joel. What's your take on this? Because we've seen injuries, we've not been given the actual detail except for VVD or even Gomez. Even Gomez is not very clear. I think only VVD's injury has been purely stated as a pure ligament tear, right? But when it comes to Gomez, it's stated as some ligament issues, but required a surgery. What do you think about this? What do you think is actually going on, and how do you think we can recover from this? Can Van Dijk and Gomez, for example, still show up this season sometime later when we are maybe running tired with legs and we need some fresh legs to come in?
So yeah, regarding Gomez injury, right? I think it's quite serious because I saw the photos. We all saw the photos, right? His leg was badly, bandaged, with the cast and everything, right? So I guess it's pretty serious. But I'm surprised that the club did not reveal what was the official injury, or I may have missed it, right? For them to come back, to help the team, I think it will be very, very much uh, not much hope, right? For them. I mean, it's a serious injury, for them to recover, and I think it will take at least 6 months for them to recover, and then they need to get back their match fitness. So I think it will be difficult. I'm not putting much hope on them to come back to help the team, but I think we should focus on the existing players, the players that we have right now. Yeah, but unfortunately, our players also, they are quite injury prone, like Matip, Fabinho also got injured, right? I think he just came back from injury, but I'm not sure about his fitness. And then we have our youngster, Rice Williams, also got injured this week, right? When he was away for the England duty. So yeah, so it's a crisis, right? That's our centre backs. I think the only fit centre back that we have now is Nathaniel Phillips, right? So I think he did well. Phillips did well, so I think he should be
I
given.
thought you were going to say Zidane Shaqiri. Thank God for that.
No Zidane for centre back, right? But Phillips did well. I was really impressed with him during his last match, right? When he started. But it's a concern at right back. Arnold is out. Neko Williams also out, right? If I'm not mistaken. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure who Klopp is going to field for the match today, right? Left back Robertson was doubtful for Scotland. Um, Not sure if he's fit to start today, right? Simikas, there's no news, right? I think he was injured, and then there's also no news. So it's yeah. So again, it's a crisis for us, guys. Sena, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Sena.
Sorry, we've got some comments coming in here from our reliable uh, followers, speakers, Mr. Vinod, the rare United, sensible United fan that we know. Vinod here has got a good comment here. This is what makes breaks the champion. So if the title defense fail, will Liverpool blame it on injuries or their transfer strategies? He goes on his mission of writing one entire karangan in one episode. He goes on to say there is a reason why squad depth is needed, especially with the modern game intensity. Liverpool failed to look beyond. Hidayat, do you want to take this? Hidayat, do you want to respond to Vinod here? He's the most sensible United fan that we have, who can actually give credit to Liverpool. So be nice, Hidayat.
Okay, hi all, and hi
Excused.
Vinod.
Excused.
Okay, hi all, and hi Vinod. Okay, to me personally, the injury crisis has come in a sudden, okay, in a surprising way. Whereas VVD, to be precise, have been free from injury for the past like 2 seasons, and we've been relying too much on him. Very much, he haven't even missed any minute in those 2 seasons. And what happened during his clash with Pickford was very disappointing. And yes, ACL, to my knowledge, to my experience, and few of my friends are having it, is a very bad injury, especially for football players. And according to the current situation, yes, we have a long list of injured players back home and also internationally. And to me, this season, yes, it tests us once again. Whereas from the past few seasons, we still using the same squad in and out weekly, and we still got the results. And surprisingly, yes, this season, early on, we got this kind of injury, and our replacements have been very, very responsive and doing their job very well, especially the likes of the young lads like Williams, Phillips, and also another Williams, Nico Williams. Okay, and yes, I agree with Vinod. This is a break and make for champions, and this is again testing our own uh, our own character. I mean, which is, yeah, before we have been domitable and dominating the league very in style. Okay, but this time around, with our lack of squad depth, to my opinion, still lacking of it in this modern era of football. But we're still trusting our Moneyball system. And to me, yes, currently we are doing very good. The rotations are coming in. Okay, long since Rafa Benitez days, the rotation is coming back again, and hopefully we can make it on time by the time the stars coming back. And yeah, finally, after those 30 long years, we can still be very, very patient and relaxed because this is the time because we can rely on our first 11 and also the substitutions are very, very, uh, I mean, yeah, reliable again. Okay, that's it.
All right. Thanks, Hidayat. I think that's a very good take on the situation, and I hope your response will eventually convert Vinod to become a Liverpool fan sometime down the line this season. Because I think his feedback
No,
on
I'm reading at
Liverpool is
this.
a lot more positive than his feedback for his own club. We've got yeah, Kishan saying that we will not blame and moan like Pep, but I think we have got one question for Kishan here with our Liverpool, with our injury crisis and for how highly rated Klopp's training regime is, players are still getting injured. Do you want to buy? Do you want us to finally buy Fakir?
Don't start it, man.
That's for Kishan to think about. He said Simika started for Greece the other day. That's probably a good sign. So hopefully, maybe we can see him because I guess we also heard about Andy Robertson's little concern that happened, and he was removed from the squad the other day. So I just like to go to maybe Brian here. Robertson was removed on the count. He felt some tightness, you know. I go to the gym one day, I feel a lot of tightness, you know. So I just want to know what are we talking about here when it comes to tightness? Are these just precautionary measures? And I just like to take it one step further. Do you think these are, you know, our first class play, our first team players trying to really honor their responsibilities to the club league by telling the, you know, dramaing a little bit and telling their national team, hey, you know what, I need a rest. I think this game's done deal, so why don't I rest? Is this what they're trying to say? Brian, what do you think?
Um, I think our generally most professional players are professional, so I think they would know when to actually call it or take a break, inform the country's medical team, you know, or whichever whoever they play for. If there is fatigue, you know, it's a shortened season this time around. So games are going to come thick and fast. And the thing about being professional is to be wanting to play as much as possible, irrespective of whether it's club or country. Okay, it's very difficult to go into the club and country debate. It's so difficult because on one hand, you have the greatest stages for countries like the FIFA World Cup, the European Championships, and then you come back into your own leagues, and then you have, you know, the Premier League, Serie A, and stuff like that. So the expectation for being a professional is to want to play as much as possible, but you know, with the time, the rest periods in between, it's going to be real difficult, and also just as difficult to manage. So I think the onus is on players to actually, you know, raise their hands and say, hey, I'm not ready, either for, you know, we would want as a club for all our players to be available. But the thing is, at some point, it's not going to happen. You know, it's unfortunate for us that our injuries have actually come in spades. So it might ease up, but um, in my I think that precautionary is also necessary. I think, you know, if you're not ready, then don't hurt yourself, and then be laid off. You can see Virgil's frustration. He's going to be out for what, anything between 6 to 12 months, and as a professional, that's, even for us, it's also very very painful. You know, to sit around and watch your friends play, and then you just sit on the sidelines. It's not easy. So yeah, that's my take on whether it's actually necessary or rather precautionary. It's in the
Okay.
onus of being professional.
Okay. All right. Puva. Do you think VVD being seen to start his light training regimen already part of the rehab? Do you feel that Fabinho and Thiago Alcantara being seen back in training? Are these really good signs? Are these partly also a little bit of desperation, a little bit of the team or the management really digging deep and pushing the players to tell them, to ask them to convince themselves to come back and really contribute to the team in a time of dire need, or because reality is, yeah, we should just go and feel our second team or the backbenchers. But if this is the case with Thiago and all that coming being seen back in training, Klopp's questions, answers to the press conference also was not very convincing. He was just saying that it's, we'll see. It's they're closer, but that is going to edge him to really make those tough choices. And do you think if we should we really not rush into it, or do you really think we really got to? Everybody has got the work cut out. The fitness team, the coaching staff, the medical team. Everybody has got to work double hard and really push themselves. And whatever the schedule is for recovery, they really need to speed it up and take our chances like that. Wow, what do you think? These are good signs. Are we getting a bit too desperate? Should we consider the players getting back to full recovery at a normal state? What do you think? Wow, what are we doing here?
No, no, no. I don't think so. We are desperate to push the players to come back way ahead of the time. In Virgil van Dijk case, I think the club already accepted that he is out for the season because I think it will take him at least 6 to 7 months to fully recover. So the news, like we already started the live I think it was posted by Liverpool Echo and Daily Mail. So I don't know how true is that, but it's a good thing to know that he's already started his life here and everything. But I don't think we are we can buy the idea of the Liverpool actually pushing the players over the limit, like you said, they're pushing the medical team, everybody who's involved to push the injured players to come back way ahead of the time. But in the case of Fabinho and Thiago, I think they are. Um, I think Fabinho would play this week. Thiago probably next week. I think they have recovered well. The disappointment within the Liverpool fans, especially on Thiago's situation, they thought he would be back by end of October, but that didn't happen. So the time the club has published the pictures of Thiago in the training ground and the likes of Fabinho, even the likes of Reece Williams, the likes of Anderson started his recovery as well. it's a good thing to see, but I don't think the club actually pushing the players or being desperate because from
I
Jurgen
agree
Klopp's
with
press conference, I think from the press conference yesterday, we can see that Klopp actually being optimistic and
you.
he's confident that his players, that the available players right now can pull this together. He knows that Fabinho is coming back. For sure, he knows Thiago is coming back. And he knows that the likes of Rhys Williams, Netflix, doing their job.
Yep.
They have done their job well against
Okay.
Sheffield, against West Ham. They have done their job well. Rhys Williams against Atalanta away, which is not the ideal game for him to start, he did very well alongside Joe Gomez. I think the only disappointment, the biggest disappointment from Klopp's point of view would be the Joe Gomez injury. Something that unexpected because from what we have heard from Southgate, he was surrounded by anybody. He wasn't surrounded by anybody in the training ground. He just got injured. It's something to do with the knee or muscle. I'm not so sure. And
So,
the fact that Liverpool haven't released the duration of absence for Joe Gomez gives us hope. Actually, he probably would be back in 3 months' time. I believe he would be back by 3 months' time. For me, Klopp would probably believe that if Matip and Fabinho stay fit, and we have backup like Rhys Williams and Netflix, I think Klopp confident that we will be fine because looking at our pictures for December and January on paper, I'm telling you, yes, this season is crazy and it's weird. Anything can happen. Anyone can beat anyone. But on paper, December and January pictures for us looks pretty nice.
yeah, just
Yeah.
to add on, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Joel wanted to add on
Yeah,
something.
let me add on to Huba. So if you look at the history, right, ever since the Klopp took over, I can see that the coaching team, the medical team is doing a great job. They don't rush back players quickly, right? Really, let them settle down, let them make sure that there's no more injury and they'll come back fresh as new, right? It's not something like the previous regime where, we are dependent on a few players, the key players, then we force them to come back and then they get injured again, right? So I don't see that with the Klopp's team, right? What I want to say is, yeah, Klopp believe in the team, right? What if you remember last season? He mentioned that the youngsters are now training with the first team, right? And they had this five-a-side game. He said that at first the youngster were getting trashed by the first team easily, but then after that, right, the youngsters improved and they are now, on par with the seniors, right? They can even beat the seniors in these training matches. So Klopp and the team is very confident with the backups, with the youngsters, to really step up. In fact, if you read if you listen to the press conference, right, Klopp mentioned about Subotic and Hummels back in his Dortmund days. They were just like 18 and 20-year old, and Klopp just let them go, let them play. So I don't see a need for Klopp to actually rush the players back.
Okay, okay, all right. Let's go to Dave. Just very quickly, to move on to the next topic. Very quickly, are you concerned as a fan? Are you concerned with our injuries? When it comes to us really going after the title defense and going after the other cups that we are playing in. Are you really, in the most shortest way that you can say, are you really concerned or not as a fan?
Um, I would just say that don't panic, try to stay calm. It feels like every day there is a new addition to Liverpool's injury crisis, another note or item that brings with a sense of doom and gloom. So Like you look at the latest thing that actually was trending yesterday, that Jordan Henderson will be missing through groin injury. So, um, I mean, a lot of injuries actually are tough blows. Though obviously that Henderson's injury is much great. I mean, it's much of greater importance, but I don't see I don't see like I don't see really physically there's a panic from the fans, but there are people actually concerned. It's just concerned. We are not panic. We are just concerned that what Klopp is going to do with the resources that he has. So it's going to be a massive thing that we're going to look at. It's going to be a very challenging. He's going to face a very big challenge for the next couple of months until the transfer window opens. And I'm not going to talk about the transfer window because there's a few names up on the list, and we are not going to talk about that now. But see, he's going to have to cope with what he has at the moment, and I'm sure he's optimistic, he's confident, and he has to get the best out of all these players. Joel said that, Pua said that probably return of Fabinho and Thiago would actually give him an idea of having a new dimension into the game and into the probably he would try to use a new formation to just cater all these players and get all the, the the best they could from them up to January, and retain and just maintain the momentum. So I don't think from my point of view, I have not seen fans panicking. Neither do I, but I think that everyone is staying optimistic, confident, and I mean we missed 2 weeks of not seeing Liverpool. It's just boring. So everyone is like eager. We are going to see what is coming up next. What is Klopp going to do? What Pep Linders is going to do? Who's going to get into the centre back? Who's going to get into the right back? We have Robertson through injury. Is Simiskas is going to come in, or Nico Williams is going to play in the right flank. See, there are so much of excitement from the fans instead of being panicked. So I feel that we are not panicked. We are
Okay.
confident, but with precaution.
Okay, that's good. I just want to go back here to what Vinod is saying, and he's replying to Puva. Pushing Thiago and Fabinho quickly might backfire, especially with the current injuries. But Liverpool has great firepower in front to compensate the back four. We'll go into Klopp's possible lineups later. But I think, as I say, Vinod, I think you're supporting the wrong team. We appreciate your comments. See the light and cross the fence, will you? Then he goes on to say, "Stay calm, Manchester United will be back." Yeah, until they are back, why don't you declare your support for Liverpool? Like openly. Let's let's go there. Okay,
Come on, Vinod.
we're gonna go into this Joel. I think let's start with you here. The club league schedules here. Is it something that it's both? It's both the club league schedules, and the next topic was supposed to be the international break. But let's start with the club league schedules. Is the PL too harsh, or is the FA a bit too harsh, or is it because partly because of the COVID-19 thing they want things to be speed up, sped up in terms of fast tracked, and it's also because of all the TV rights and all that they just want to get it over and done with because viewership will always be there. But as long as you play the matches, and is that part of the reason? And then you've got the UEFA for the teams that are in Europe currently. They are also going to feel a bit more heavy on that front. So what do you think? The league schedules here, did they jump the gun, or when it came to COVID-19 and how they are planning it out, or did they Is this really a commercially driven thing? Should the FA really review this? Should, I don't know, should the Premier League be longer and a bit more stretched considering the new normal now with COVID-19? What do you think, Joel? You're on mute. Yep.
Yep. Okay. So if you look at Klopp's recent comment, right? In fact, he was pushing for five substitutes, right, instead of three. So I think to change a fixture is difficult, because it has been set in stone, and like you say, it's commercially driven, right? But if the FA could, look at the five substitute per game, that kind of thing that can help the teams, I think it will be of great help. Coming back to your question, yes, I think it's commercial driven, right? Everything is all about money, even the friendlies, right? The friendlies now, they have the Nations League and all these things. So it's all about sponsorship, it's all about the dollars and cents, right? I'm not sure how the FA or UEFA, can look into the fixtures. It will be great if they can, stretch it longer, like you say. But from the way that they are doing things previously, historically, I don't think so. They will change much, unless there is a clash of fixtures, right? Then they will try to delay or postpone the game. Other than that, I don't see that happening.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Hidayat. What is your take on the schedules here? You think this is just a bit too much, or do you think this is actually good for football? It's already perhaps the number one game in the world. Is this just going to is this just making football maintain its number one viewership, or the number one place as being the most viewed sport in the world during this pandemic and the new normal? What do you think about this whole thing?
Okay. Personally, for me, yes. I did not blame, but it's absolutely about the COVID pandemic. Because regarding the schedule, it's been state and done for past centuries or years, because it's there. The league seasons, the off seasons, and also the competitions of the internationals. Meaning that the pandemic actually, besides the monetary matters, okay, the pandemic itself halted half of our season last season, and also this time around we have to quicken all the schedules and then all packed in, including all those internationals, because internationals have I think two big competitions coming in, and too bad for the players, because yes, fatigue's coming in, the injuries and everything. Apart from that, yes, regarding the sponsorships, the TV contracts and everything, yeah, that play part as well, because we know that it plays a big part in those shows, the live viewings, and also the sponsorship for the teams, clubs as well. And for me, yeah, I'm not playing too much on the schedules, because actually it's been there, but unfortunately we have been confronting the COVID for quite long enough now, and hopefully it will end sooner rather than later.
Okay, all right. I think Brian, you had something to say about the schedules earlier. Do you wanna add to this quickly?
Okay, quickly. The schedules are going to be compressed. The reason why, I think they are also prepping for contingencies. COVID, it's there, and then it dissipates for a while, and then right now there is another wave, and then a few months later there's another wave. I think it's more of a contingency. You've got so many tournaments, and internationally, and in a club sense, You got so
Exactly.
many tournaments to look out for. So pretty much they're trying to balance it, and it's not going to be easy because this is the first time it has happened. So um, to think of having three games for the next 2 months until February, it's really it's good for fans, but the thing is, it's really going to hurt clubs, not just ours, but clubs as a whole. It's going to be really, really tough. But we don't have a choice. We don't know what's going to happen in January. We don't know what's going to happen in March. So I think the main footballing bodies are trying to strategize a way to actually like what to get it across the line as quick as possible. Then try and go back to the norm. Get the breaks in between, and then try and see out, and hopefully maybe COVID might just we might
Disappear.
just have cure, yeah, a cure for COVID, or something like that as we go along the lines. It's very difficult to say. As
Okay.
fans, we are accepting of the situation. I'm accepting of the situation, but I think that it's a real hard task for footballing bodies lah, to decide whether it's rushy or not, because it's the first time it's happening to us.
Okay, we've got a comment here from the man whose club actually used to run the Premier League during Sir Alex time. They pretty much managed the Premier League themselves. So there is two ways the FA can help: increase number of subs allowed per match. Very valid, very valid. I think that's something a lot of the managers have spoken about. But like I said, the dynamics of how that five-man substitution can be is quite ridiculous, because we're talking about potentially two players that I can sub on, and two players that I can sub off. The same two players I can sub off in the same match, within the 90 minutes. So the dynamics of that can actually it can evolve to something quite interesting. But I think if we're talking about the players' welfare here, their health and safety, something to consider. Follow the Spanish league rule. If any long-term injury, they can do signing within the country itself, like how Barca and Atletico benefited the last two seasons. Ah, okay. But I guess that's something that I don't think the FA will go for so very soon, because again, I think there's so many commercial implications there, and I think that's like pretty much throwing a curveball to many teams out there, that are actually very protected with the whole transfer periods and the transfer policies that are currently there. So that's my take on it. Puva, let's go into this. We've always spoken about the great things about watching international football, but during this time, it's feeling a lot like it's a pain. It's feeling a lot like it's a bloody pain, and I just wanted to get your take. But like I said, I mentioned this earlier before we started the show. We've always looked forward to the international tournaments, the international matches, international season that happens pretty much at the end of every season. But the build up to that happens throughout a normal duration of a club season. But now that there's this pandemic, do you think this needs to be revisited? Or is that a bit being a bit too harsh with the international football? Because you have to look at it on the other side. Even though we're talking about Europe here, or Latin America, or any continent, a lot of countries that are not so big on club football, that do not get the mileage and the traction for club football, they rely and look forward to the international matches. Even in Europe, countries in America, Latin America, and so on. Africa countries especially, they've got a lot of brilliant players playing in the club scene, but the only way for them to get any mileage is for them to have those players feature for their countries. So are we being a bit too harsh? Then what do you think should be the solution. We've talked about it for many weeks. We've frustrated it for many a time already, since the restart of football. It's a lot of people feel that it's really unnecessary because of this COVID thing. You're out for 14 days the minute you're positive, because that's just the protocol today. What do you think about this, Pua?
No, I think it would be harsh to.
Well,
I think it would. Sorry, guys. I think it would be harsh to blame on the international break, because if we speak out of frustration, I think the club with the most injuries due to international break, I think they would blame it. But let's be real. I think we all used to love international breaks. Even if it's friendly those days. I don't know what happened to these international games. I don't know whether it lost its magic or lost its mojo or what. I'm not so sure about that. People no more attracted to international breaks. Um, but I don't think we can blame on that because the show has to go on. International football is equally important as club football. Uh, how we can stop without playing the World Cup qualifiers? We can't do that. Euro 2020 has already been postponed for a year now. They can't postpone for another year. So the Nations League, actually the idea of Nations League is unacceptable as Jurgen Klopp said in the past. We don't understand why they actually came up with the idea of Nations League. But I would say, what's the point of playing this pointless friendly? I'm okay with the Nations League. I'm okay with the World Cup qualifiers, all these games. Like you see, England last 2 weeks, they have played Ireland. It's a friendly match before they play
Belgium.
Belgium and Iceland. Why they have to play that Ireland game? I just don't get it. You already have two matches to play within 3 days, and they risk their players to play a pointless friendly. Okay, I understand from the Ireland point of view, it's important for them because I'm sure you guys know that this world ranking is important as well. Okay, if you win certain games, you gain certain points, and it will contribute to the world rankings. But in this pandemic time, is that important? I don't think so. And few players are affected with the COVID-19. They came back with positive test. Okay, I'm not talking about Salah. I think the Salah case due to the brother's wedding. That's fine. That's a different case. But yes, for me, I'm not gonna blame on international football. But it would be nice, it would be good for everyone if they kept that pointless friendly, which with end of I mean on end of the day, how many people actually watch all these matches? How many of you here actually watch this for the last 2 weeks? How many matches you guys actually watched? I don't get it. So people are more obsessed with club football. Okay, even if you are not being a fan of certain clubs, we still do watch club football games. Okay, and you see, end of the day, they played the game, and if you see, people like Hidayah after suffer seeing his favorite Germany lost 6-0 to Spain. things, things like this happen. Things like this happen. Okay, but I don't blame on them because, but I think the bodies like UEFA, FIFA are doing their best, doing their absolute best. I think the World Cup 2022 has to go on. I don't think they will postpone it. Euro has already been postponed for a year, which is supposed to take place in 12 different cities. I think I think they're working on it. So we can't really blame on it 100%, but I would say the pointless friendlies should be scrapped off. For me, why
Yes.
you need to travel to another country, another continent, just to play a friendly and come back with injuries and COVID-19 cases? I just don't get it. Okay, South American players going to South America to play World Cup qualifiers, fine. It has to go on. They have to play it somewhere. If not now, they have to play in the future, next year. The end of next year, they have to play the qualifier. so that they can play in like 2022. So for me, if you ask me, I'm not going to blame it 100% on international break. It's frustrating because Liverpool is one of the, I would say that we are the, like one of the biggest victims from this international break now.
Okay,
Agreed.
okay, all right. Um, so I guess we don't want to go too much into the international one. I think Puva was the best. We always debate about, it's very interesting how Puva just took a very quick jab at Germany.
No,
But
no,
don't
I
worry,
actually missed the point.
we,
I
we,
actually missed the
we
point.
will not go into Argentina for obvious reasons. Also, we will
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so let's just go into the next bit here. International break, very very objective. I think it is still needed. I think there's a bit more. In terms of we're talking about global reach of football. We're talking about fair play, driving the fair play agendas from FIFA and all that. Uh, you know, International football has to go on. But I think like what Puva has said, there's so many things that can be done here to really look at the bigger picture and really manage this whole time with this whole pandemic and how things are becoming the new normal. It is something that really needs to be well thought of. Otherwise, the player career, if this is the new normal for the next 10 years, player career span is really going to drop by 2 years, 3 years
3 years,
easily.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, easily it's gonna drop. So we don't want to see great players, having
Retired early,
those
yeah.
concerns, with that kind of career spans. Faisal Zakaria saying hello to Hidayat Fitri here. You wanna just say
Yeah,
hello? um, so let's go into the next bit here, and I think it's what I think a lot of us are looking forward to here. We've got solutions to the lineup that we really want to talk about. Let's start with the obvious one, and I'm gonna ask Dave to comment here, and just to annoy Joel. I don't want Joel to go first. Um, with Mohamed Salah not gonna be there, I know Joel would like to take a smack at this, but with Salah not there, who would you go with, Dave? You're on mute, mate. You're on mute.
As I said earlier, that there is no need of panic. We still have the depth of the squad, and we still have a lot of options at the moment. Yes, injuries are nightmare, but by no means will break us. So, if worse come to worse on Sunday, we might have Allison back on the goal, and Milner on the right if Nico Williams make it. If according to what I have right now, Nico Williams has a little bit of sore foot or ankle, so and he's being tested, and he's ready almost 75% right now. Um, and if there is no further problems with Matip, we might see Matip, a centre back partner with Rice Williams or Nathaniel Phillips. If Klopp is going to take a precautionary on Robertson, then we will definitely see Simiskas starting. Other than that, I also have something on Fabinho. Fabinho is also being on a 75% fitness level right now, and he's getting better. And another very interesting thing that I have right now is Thiago Alcantara. He is 75% ready for the match fitness for Leicester City. Um, if if we look at all these latest updates, what I have right now, I mean, apart from Salah is being assessed right now, I mean, he'll be definitely out for 3 games, if I'm not mistaken. We will have Allison, Milner, Matip, Rice Williams or Nathaniel Phillips, partnering Joel Matip, Simiskas, Genie for sure. Navi Keita, we could see him taking up a new role uh, under Klopp for the first time. Shaqiri, Jota, Firmino. On Mane, Jones, Origi, Minamino most likely will be making a strong bench, but I don't think Mane will go into the bench. Most likely, Shaqiri will go into the bench, and it will be Firmino, Bobby, Jota, and Mane starting up. And I don't, as I said earlier, it will be a very interesting subject actually for the entire Premier League world. How Klopp is going to overcome in the next 2 months. So
Okay, okay.
it's gonna be very interesting.
All right.
And
Let's just quickly go to Hidayat. Hidayat, just tell me who the hell's your back for. Just go for it.
Okay, for the first time in so many years, I'm supporting this lovely club. For first time, I actually trust Klopp's stands for once. As like the King Kenny said, trust him because he knows what he do. And then recently Klopp said, as long as he's got 11 players, we can still fight for 3 points. And to me, honestly, for this time around, I'm so optimistic. Even though we don't have our first four there, first back four line there, so I'll go with um, Matip and Phillips at the center. Left back we go with Simikas, and if Nico Williams is fit, so I'll put him in. So that's the back four for me tomorrow. And for the midfielders, I guess my favorite player Wijnaldum will definitely feature. I can see maybe Milner will come in for the backup for the experience in there. And most probably, if we go for offensive, there'll be Shaqiri, or a bit more holding. We'll go for Keita, and definitely the front three will only add up Jota up front. Besides our lovely Mane and Bobby. That's it.
Okay, okay, all right. If there's an assistant manager job there, please apply for it, mate. Because I think you're right. You're way up there.
I
Joel. Okay, now,
I
now,
would like
now
to take over.
all of y'all need to know that Joel gives detailed, beyond detailed reviews on each player performance that have players that have played in the 90 minutes this season. Yeah, Joel does this. So I'm just gonna tell you all to brace yourself for this. Yeah, so I'm gonna let Joel take it away. Because I think he's observed, and for all I know, he's probably done a nice Excel, pivoted, we looked up
Wow.
which player
Wow.
I
based
don't
on
do that.
their
I don't.
rating,
Get the
based on
data,
their
man,
rating,
Roy.
which players should be actually starting tomorrow. And he'll probably even come up and tell Klopp, no, Klopp, don't worry if he's injured. Just tell him to start. So yeah,
Amen,
Joel,
Roy.
go. Take it away.
Yeah,
What do you want to say?
yeah, Sena, regarding Klopp, right? I actually did that. I actually forwarded Klopp's playing days photo to my WhatsApp group. I say, Klopp could be making a special appearance tomorrow. Centre back. Okay, anyway, my lineup is quite similar to Hidayat, right? The only difference would be on the right back. I would prefer to have Milner on the right back as compared to Neko, because Neko is still very raw. He's still lacking the experience, and especially if he's playing up against players like Harvey Barnes from Leicester, it's gonna be a tough game for him. So Milner on the right back. Uh, Front three is the same: Jota, Mane, Bobby. Midfielder, I would go with Curtis Jones, because I think he is the freshest among all. I think he should start. Fabinho to be the holding, and Genie to start as well. So yeah, so that is my first 11.
Okay, all right. So we with all those first 11s that we got just now from, I mean the player options that we've got from Dave, from Hidayat, and Joel. Let's quickly move into our next part here, which is the Leicester match preview. So I just want from Brian and Pova here, based on those starting options that were just mentioned. Now let's look at Leicester. One side they're having some issues of their own, but on the other side they've got, if you ask me, the most dangerous front player, and I'm not talking about Harry Kane, the most dangerous front man in the whole land of England, and that's Jamie Vardy. Okay,
Jamie Vardy.
that guy is ridiculous. Okay, and I think even Klopp knows. I think if Vardy does something spectacular tomorrow and scores, Klopp is just going to laugh and just say, I saw that coming. So because the guy is unstoppable, not just on his day, he's unstoppable on most days. So let's start with maybe Brian here. How do you think Klopp is going to? Yeah, I think Klopp has got options. Like what Hidayat, Joel, and Dave has said to start for tomorrow. But how's that going to work against Leicester?
It solely depends on what who comes out for Leicester. Okay, I'm told that they also have injury boosts with the likes of Fofana and Casemiro, I think, back in. It depends on how it's gonna. But with Vardy, it's going to be as usual. It's tough for everyone. I should expect. Um, Probably it will be Phillips that is going to. He seems more robust, more English like to go, toe to toe with
Agree.
with
Buddy, big buddy.
Body. Okay, Matip is more. He's more reclusive in terms of defending. He doesn't rush in. So, with Vardy, the moment you close him, right? I've seen games where if you close him real tight, right, then you might stand a 50-50 chance of uh, you know having him in your pocket. But it's a hard task. But I think with Nat, I think it's possible. We've seen it with in his last fixture. He did pretty well.
So while
Shadowing, hitting.
while you're on that,
Yeah.
Brian, I'm just gonna throw in Vinod here and saying the man who invented football should start, Mr. Divock Origi. What do you think about this? Should he be starting against
But
Leicester? This is Leicester City we're talking about. Should he start?
I reckon no. He'll still be on the bench. Sadly, my front three would be surprisingly Shaqiri, Jota, and Mane, with Bobby as the number 10. To provide more hard work in the middle. I think with a lot more hard work, maybe we can break down Leicester and frustrate them. So that's ideally my plan. You know,
Okay.
so so yeah, with Vardy, I think if we are really tight and there's another player in Harvey Barnes. He's just as much dangerous. So that is another one that I think Milner should be able to handle. So yeah,
Okay.
I I'm optimistic.
Optimistic. Okay, good. With that note, let's go to Pova with this remark here from Vinod. They gave Citizen a lesson. 2-5 victory. They're full of momentum. Have won all their away matches. The home run might end. He still tries to throw in.
Hey, save yourself from West Brom.
Yeah, he still wants to throw in a cheap shot here. So Puva, can Puva yes? Can you yes, Puva?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, Puma, what do you think here? Are they really going to be a threat? Is our unbeaten home run record under threat tomorrow? Is Vinod smoking something strong while he's typing this comment?
Yeah, we don't. I need that one too.
I think Vinod is more concerned about our our current situation and our current issues more than
Yep.
his own club. I know that his own club actually facing West Brom and we are facing Leicester. I understand that. Uh, Speaking about this fixture, for me, we will win if we stop Tillemans. For me, Tillemans from Leicester is having one hell of a season for me from midfield. Uh, the interception is doing his true pass from the midfield. I mean, I don't know if it will happen or not in the future. I would love to see him in Liverpool colors, replacing Genie. Uh, is that good? Is that good? If you ask me, if we stop them, I mean, if we stop them from operating in the midfield, we'll win this game for sure because we have enough firepower up front. We can play. I actually prefer a formation of 4-2-3-1 compared to 4-3-3. I think with the players missing, I think Klopp would prefer a more cautious approach to this game with a defensive block of six, with
Mm.
two defensive midfielders. But I'm not sure who going to come in to fill that position. For me, I have put order. If Fabinho fit to play, I would put Fabinho and Gini in that position with Matip and Phillips as the centre backs, with Milner as right back and Robertson as left back. And the front
Mm.
four can be anyone. I have put
Yep.
Shaqiri as a number 10 and Jota and Mane on the flanks and Firmino on top. If
Mm.
if we play with 4-3-3 in the midfield three, I think Jones should start. I think I need to agree with Joel. Jones is probably the most fresh among the other compared to other midfielders. I think if both Fabinho and Thiago out, I think Keita and Jones definitely will start the game for sure alongside Gini if we play with midfield three. Uh,
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't
Yep.
think we're in that bad shape to face Leicester City or to even lose our home record so far. I don't think we will lose this game. I think if people think that Leicester will get something from this game, probably a draw. I don't think they will beat us. They are good. I admit they are good. Especially away games. Leicester's away performance this season has been impressive. Even Wardy has performed brilliantly away games compared to home games. Because someone like who plays fantasy football, they know better about this. Wardy's contribution, assists, and goals in away games are far more impressive than home games.
Yep, yep.
Probably because Leicester's style of play suits their away games. They lost at home to West Ham United. They lost to Aston Villa, but they have totally destroyed the likes of Man City and Leeds United. So yes, we have to be careful. We know that how dangerous they can be. Uh, Brian has spoken about Barnes. Yes, he's very dangerous. I think Brendan Rodgers' instruction would be very simple: just go and attack Liverpool's right hand side. I think that would be the
Mm.
instruction. Go and attack. Just go and attack from Milner's side. Just go and attack him. Okay, that's why I say that we should go with 4-3-1. More bodies on the midfield. We need more bodies on the midfield to stop Tillemans and Barnes to
I think you
move
make a
freely.
good point there on Tillemans. I have him on my FIFA team. So Tillemans is really a very very good player to have.
He
On
was
that
he
note,
was on our radar. He was
yeah,
on
he was
our
on the radar. That's
yeah
why
for a
Tillemans was
while.
one that really could have fit in. So what Pogba said
From
would have been
Anderlecht.
brilliant to see him in Liverpool colours. While we're talking about the formations, I'm just showing Vinod's comment here because I think I'm pretty sure he's gone and bought Kuda Toto Magnum 5D 32212 right there. His money is all on Liverpool this season, right? So
Unfortunately, Vinod, I have to say this: our defense is not that good
no
as
way.
Man
They're not
United
ready.
defense,
Yeah.
so that we can play as three at the back. We are not that
Yeah.
strong to play three at the back.
Oh,
Sorry, our
oh,
defense is not strong as Man United defense, so I don't think the three at the back would work for us.
I
Um,
have
okay.
a I
That
have a
doesn't
different
make
take
it
on
sound so
this.
reasonable. That sounds so
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah, I wanted Joel to give your take on the formation really.
Yeah. Okay. So I think few things I want to address here. One is basically on Minot's comment, right? The three-man defense. I think it's a very interesting topic. I think we can knowing Klopp, he actually evolved his team during the gameplay, right? It's not something fixed throughout 90 minutes. So if we revert to back three, I think it works because there's only one striker, right? Vardy is the only striker. So 3 versus 1, that is a good formation. And you have two wing backs to actually go all out attack. So if there's a back three of 3 players, 3 defenders, I would start with the same players, Matip, Fabinho, and Phillips, right? Fabinho can just go move down a little bit, which they always do when they have the possession. You can see that Matip always go back to the center of the defense, and it becomes three at the back. I think that will work, right? On the formation for today, I agree with Huva that the game will be won in midfield in this game, right? Because Mendy, don't forget about Mendy, right? Mendy and Tielemans, they are the one running the show. So if we can stop both of them, we will cut out the supply for their attackers. Now the only thing I'm worried is so far since the project restart, right? Whenever Hendo is not in the team, I can see that our midfield are struggling
Yep, yep.
for some reason. It's like non-existent at all. It's like there's no midfield from striker, and then it will immediately go back to the defenders. Like the midfield is not there at all, right? So that is my concern. If Hendo is not playing, right?
Yep.
So I think the seniors have to step up, right? Genie and
Hey, shut up,
no,
lah, Vinod.
Hidayat,
yeah,
what do you think about this? After what Joel has said, everything has been said, and with Pova especially saying that one of the strategies that Leicester will definitely have is probably attack the right side. Will that
and yeah.
be?
Sienna, I
Yeah,
forgot to mention,
go
we
for it.
should not play high line in this match. We should play a cautious game.
I
Seriously,
don't
Yeah,
know.
Speedy. The
I
focus
don't
of
know
Speedy, yes.
whether the players know the difference already of playing highline or not playing highline at this point when with how we are trying to play the offside and with VAR
yeah,
coming and picking it up. I don't
exactly,
know
exactly.
whether I don't know whether we go into trainings and go like so do we start highline or
No, they shouldn't be, at near the halfway line. They
definitely,
should be.
definitely. I totally
Yeah,
agree. That's very wise. It's something very wise to do because
yeah,
of because of this man. Vardy has scored the most against Klopp compared to
exactly,
any other player in the league.
exactly.
So, Bayat, are
Yeah.
you worried? Are you worried about Vardy?
Yeah, for me, I like Vardy very much, even though it's not in our colours. But then, according to statistics, forms, and his own cunning style of play, I like Vardy very much, and I think he's the integral part for the Foxes for them to win. So if we lose Vardy and then something terrible will happen to us. And as like Joel and Puva said, this game will be definitely focused and won in the midfield. As long as we can contain them very well, the Tillemans, the likes of Tillemans, Madison, and everything. So I think we can easily hurt them because our front three has very little and can give any opponent a huge damage anytime. Uh, the most interesting part is the two centre backs. Yeah, to me, if we got a fit squad, then we can try two at the back with the likes of maybe VVD, Gomez, and Matip. There's a huge rock there. And then for this time around, I don't see it's a suitable time to experiment it because the focus is way speedy. I'm afraid that we're gonna uh, break during the counter attack. And that's it.
Okay, okay. Uh Vinod, with these kind of comments, we are this close to buying you a Liverpool shirt, my friend. Very close. Very good. uh, uh, Why do you want Pogba to leave? I mean, come on, can we pay you to keep Pogba there, right? Like we will pay you to keep Pogba there. We need some entertainment in the Premier League, right? After all those intense where the matches actually happen. So anyway, Vinod, such a good sport. Thank you, Vinod. You are really a very sensible fan, for football. So let's get into predictions. Before we wrap up, I think we've got just about 5 minutes before we wrap up. Predictions. Let's go with start with Mr. Dave.
Yo,
Everybody
so
gets a minute each. 1 minute.
all right. Brendan Rodgers is doing a grand job right now at Leicester City. So as everyone's saying that Tielemans, Mendy, and Vardy is going to be the danger man. So I think we are pretty much ready for him, for his any sort of plans. And I'm going to go for 2-1 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool. All right, all right. Do you dare name the scorers right there?
Pardon?
Do you dare name the scorers?
I'll go for Jota and Mane.
Hey, where did Joel go? Joel went missing.
Let him come back.
Anyway,
Let him come back.
okay. Jota and Mane, and the
Yep.
one goal by Leicester is Vardy.
No, Harvey Barnes.
Ooh, okay, okay, okay. Let's go to Brian. Brian,
Uh, I'm also going 2-1. Probably a double from Jota. Okay, just slightly off, going back to the formations. I've noticed that teams that play with a back three do very well against
Leicester.
Leicester,
Yes.
because West Ham got a result playing a back three. So
Yep.
did Villa. So you might never know. It's something worth. Joel actually had a point. We might just pull our rabbit out of the hat and go ballistic and different on Leicester. Yeah, but
okay, okay.
scoreline 2-1. Yeah,
2-1, huh? 2-1, huh?
Jota double.
Jota double. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jota double.
Everybody loves this kid, don't they? Right? Like he's such a lovable boy. This guy. Let's go with Hidayat. Your prediction, please.
Okay, for me, Mane and Wijnaldum on the score sheet with Vardy hitting us.
Yeah, Mane and Wijnaldum, huh? Wow, so that's a different take. I think considering this is going to be a very very hard fought match. This is I think Mane and Wijnaldum scoring sounds quite appropriate because I think it's going to be a very very hard fought match here. So I think I'm going to take a long shot here and say I think Hidayat's on the spot here today. I think he's on point. I think he's got it here. But anyway, Vinod has of course taken a whack at us right now. 2 discount for Liverpool. So Buddy hat trick. We're gonna go down 5-2. I don't know. What do you think? You think is Aston Villa every day or what?
I'll come back to you, Vinod. I'll come back to you.
Okay, let's go to Joel prediction.
Okay, my prediction is going to be a tough game, and I think we're going to win it very late in the game. First scorer will be Mane, and then Vardy to equalize, and then late goal from Jota. It could be the 90th minute or something. Yeah.
I think if it's a late.
Wow.
I think if
Wow.
it's a late goal, maybe Jota lah.
Yeah.
But you're talking
Yeah.
late goal. That has to be Origi. You're mistaken. It's gonna be some stupid shit where Spicer fumbles it and he'll hit him on he'll hit him on his body at the side. He'll get into the goal. He'll take that shit to VAR. And it's already going to go past, and it's going to be Origi scores the winner. That's what you're doing.
Marginal armpit, yeah?
Late means that.
Late. Origi.
Marginal armpit, yeah? Marginal armpit.
Mr. Puvarasan, your prediction, please.
Oh, it sucks when it comes to prediction, but I think I would go for I would go for high scoring match. I think it will be a high scoring match. I would go for 3-2 Liverpool. At this
I thought
rate,
you were
at
going to
this
say
rate,
4-3.
at this
Yep,
rate,
possible.
I don't mind concede goals as long we keep winning. I think this season
Yep,
is gone for clean sheets. This season gone for defense. It's long gone. I think as long you keep winning, it's fine.
yep, yep.
3-2 for Liverpool scorers. I would say my man Money for sure. Jota
Yeah.
double probably. If there is a penalty, Milner. So I would go for Mane, Milner, and Jota. For Leicester, I would say Vardy and Barnes.
Okay, okay. I think I'm just going to go with a simple 1-0 here after the international break. The teams have not really regrouped, especially our team. Whatever numbers that have regrouped also are not going to be very familiar, very well gelled. So all that put together, I think it's going to be a hard fought match. There'll be, I think it's just going to be 1-0. If the goal is scored before the 85th minute, I think it's going to be maybe Mane or Wijnaldum. I'm with Hidayat there. One of them will definitely nick it. But if it's going to be scored right at the end, like I said, I want it to be Lord Origi to score it
Give up, Origi.
exactly. I just want us.
You want Origi.
I just want that, that fumble by Schmeichel, and it hits him where he doesn't even know, and then he goes into the goal, and they have to VAR that stuff just to confirm whether the goal is a own goal or whether it's his goal, that kind of stuff. But I
That's
think
that
it's gonna
sounds that sounds like a 4-3 classic, man. Yeah. Though we all miss 4-3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4-3 is something that is a bit lacking here. But yeah, I think it's going to be a hard fought match. That's like what Puba said. When it comes to predictions, except for that last match that we had where I was really spot on with my prediction. I'm really bad at predictions myself, but I think it'll be a hard fought match. I don't know if it's going to be high scoring or low scoring, but I think we will have a winning goal, and hopefully that 3 points is what Puva said matters. I think it's really going to matter, this season especially. So that's it. I think we've come to the end of the show. It was a brilliant show. Thank you, everyone for watching. Thank you to the panel speakers here, Mr. Hidayat, for joining us for the first
Thank you, thank
time.
you.
Joel's
Thanks for
back after
inviting.
so long. Always being critical with his facts and details. We've got Brian here, who is just probably the most smooth talking panel member we've had. We've got Dave here, our local guy who stirs up every social media platform, and we've got the one and only Mr. Puva, the most familiar face, my buddy, the guy who founded these talk shows with me. So thank you everyone for watching. I think we've had a decent number of viewers throughout this 1 hour and 15 minutes. So thank you very much. We will be back with either the Cop Talk or the Footy Talk next, either to get one after the other or rotating. Thank you so much for watching. Please read the message there. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, follow us on FB, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. We're all there. Thank you for the support. We want to build this show. Anybody who wants to actually join as speakers as well, just drop us a message, and we'll probably get you on the next show. We're happy this is a show by the fans and for all. Okay, it's by the fans and it's a show for
Oh,
all. So
all.
keeping that in mind, anybody is, we're happy to have anyone on the show. So we're looking forward to the next show. Liverpool, Leicester City. I think Monday 3:15 a.m. or something like that. So thank you everyone. You'll never walk alone. We go again. This is the Cop Talk. Signing off. See you guys.
Stay safe.
Have a good
Stay
weekend.
safe. Stay
Stay safe.
safe, guys.
Yeah.